Well, hello, everyone. And welcome to another Life Talks with Crystal Phoenix. So, today I am making some waves with three very dear friends of mine. Two are going to be new to my channel, and one who many of our viewers know, my beautiful friend Sharon, with four announcements. And let me say, they're going to make some big waves in the world of domestic abuse awareness and recovery. So I hope you guys are ready. I'm going to bring up the three beautiful ladies that are joining me. And hi, Lauren. Good to see you, sweetheart. Um, for those of you joining us on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook, welcome, and let's get this party started. So, hey, so welcome all. These are my beautiful friends, Pamela, Sharon, whom we've all met, and Jess. Hey, Ajot, sis, love you. We're going to start with Pamela. She is building what is hopefully going to be a global task force. I'm going to let her introduce and explain all of it. But both Jess and I are members of it. Sharon doesn't know enough about it yet. But so without further ado, Lady Pamela, take the floor.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Pamela Payton. I am the founder and CEO of Open Arms Against Abuse. I am also a candidate running for a city council at large for District 5 in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm also the founder of the Global Domestic Violence Task Network. This particular goal and mission that I have put together is to unite, advocate, and organize across borders in the fight against domestic violence and human trafficking. Is to provide education, resources, and global collaboration that empowers survivors and communities to create lasting change. Our vision is that every survivor of domestic violence and human trafficking has the access to safety, justice, and support no matter where they live. Our goals are to amplify survivor voices, unify global advocacy, resource sharing, building cross-border support networking. We're also aiming to change some of these legislations and policies regarding domestic violence and human trafficking in the U.S. as well as across abroad. We are looking for members to help us with this fight. Domestic violence and human trafficking is real. We as survivors know that it's real. Things will never change unless we unite together. And that's my goal.
And they're very, very amazing goals. And, when I first read over your prospectus, when you sent it to me, if you remember, the first thing I sent to you was, well, that's very ambitious. And it is. What you sent me, all that it's beautiful. And it is. It's very ambitious. But I think that's the goal of every person on this stage and the goal of many of our viewers in both LinkedIn, Facebook, and in my YouTube channel, so if you will drop in the private chat any links to be able to connect with you so I can put it on both the Facebook and LinkedIn feed, I would be appreciated.
Okay.
This way they can connect with you if they want to volunteer within the network, or share resources, things like that, because like I said, in many of our LinkedIn community, Sharon knows how wide our LinkedIn community goes. I mean, we have people that we're close to in the UK, Australia, across the board.
Okay.
So drop your link in the chat so that either Sharon or I can post how to connect with you to be able to work together. Okay?
Okay.
I know, like, in the support chat that Jess has, which we're going to be getting to in a moment, you are very supportive. You've called me asking, for help on supporting survivors, and help. Oh, I think we lost her. Oh, well, when she gets back, what I was saying is, like, she helped out one of my really good friends on Facebook who lives in Jacksonville in navigating just the school systems and everything for her son who has autism, because they were giving her a hard time. And I was telling them about how you helped out my friend Lisa, with how to navigate the school board because they weren't wanting to help him and things. So this is one lady that puts her money where her mouth is. When she says she's going to help somebody, she does. So I give her the Crystal Phoenix stamp of approval, and that one's hard for me to put that brand put my label with that, but she has shown that she puts her money where her mouth is and does what she can to advocate. So I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy Friday and allowing me to make the big announcement with you about task force and everything. I figure, it may not show a lot of people in the chat at this moment, but we do get a lot of, team replays, especially on LinkedIn and things like that. So the message will get out there. And
Okay.
thank you for allowing us to, out you, so to speak.
You are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. I'm just happy to be here and to conversate with you, lovely ladies.
Okay. So now, the next three announcements all go together. Many of you on LinkedIn have sent me congratulations for my new position within Amethyst Rising. So I'm going to make the official announcement with my co-founder and president, and we are going to tell you all about Amethyst Rising, and I'm going to out our beautiful Sharon as well, and make the announcement that she is also a board member of Amethyst Rising. She is going to be our treasurer, and many of you know she's also my right hand Sally. I can't do anything without Sharon. She's just that much, of an important person in my life and how much I love her, and we support each other. So I am going to unmute Jess as soon as she's done drinking her soda. And we are going to announce Amethyst Rising and what it's all about. So, Jess, let's
well, I didn't come as prepared as Miss Pamela did, so I'm just kind of going off the cuff here.
That's what we do best, right, Sharon?
I am the founder and president of founder and CEO of Amethyst Rising Domestic Violence. It's a nonprofit. We're focusing on not just supporting the victims, but once the victims are safe, we follow them throughout the process of getting free, being there, for them to vent to come to when they don't understand the emotions they're having, or if they can't find shelter, or if they cannot find the resources they need. Miss Crystal and I kind of have the same idea. And when she kind of ran it by me, I was like, okay, this is kind of what I have been thinking about doing as well. But I didn't quite think about it as she did. And since she is the co founder, I will let her explain her idea because I really think that that would benefit Amethyst Rising as well.
Okay, guys. So about 6 months back, I made an announcement that I wanted to start a foundation, a sanctuary foundation, if you guys remember. Well, when Jess and I were talking and she offered me the position of VP, I told her I wanted her to watch my live and make a choice. To see if we could marry our visions together, because I wanted to do something that, ironically, hi Lexi, welcome, was basically Lexi's foundation for trafficking survivors inspired what I wanted to do. I wanted to set up different campuses nationwide and have an actual program, very much like Inspire Light for domestic abuse, where you live on the campus for a year or so. You're taught financial literacy and how to reincorporate yourself into society, how to live again, rebuild. And so Jess needed help building her board and her foundation because the original people were flakes. We'll just put it there. And doesn't have the connection. But she had the vision, and she had already done all the paperwork and the groundwork. I had the connections and somewhat know-how of how to build, and I had the stable people. And so I told her that I would take on VP if we could marry our visions together. And after she watched the live, she sent me a picture of even a blueprint of a sanctuary, of a campus. Like, she had it was all paper drawn, but it's so cute. I love it, by the way. Of the community center and the apartment buildings and everything. So she was like, yeah, I'm in. We can marry those ideas, absolutely. And so that's where we're at. We have the 501c, or I believe that's what it's called. We've got all the paperwork done, started. We've got the nonprofit status. Now, what we are doing with making the announcement is we are making a call for people who are willing to, donate time, services, anything to get us fully off the ground, and build. Just much like Pamela, who, needs volunteers in the community to help boots on the ground, get people out, because Pamela called me and told me about how she actually goes in and, will get a woman out and safe, things like that. We need the resources to keep our people safe, the education on how to do it properly and legally. Lexi, I know your situation and I love you. You can donate time for now, but we are not talking money. There we go. I will set you up to collaborate and everything after. We are still building our LinkedIn page, and the website will hopefully be up and running by the 1st of December. I'm working on it, Jess. I can only do so many things. I am still one person and have a job. And a Matt. And many of you know my Matt, and I love him, and he is darling and so important to me. But we all know he's a little needy at times.
Aren't most?
But he did. You know what, though? With all the shit that he's put up with me, it's okay. And Sharon's just like, oh my God. Sharon knows some of the shit that I put that with her.
No,
No,
it's not. I'm not. Oh my God. I'm agreeing with Jess, and I'm agreeing with you because it's an and A-N-D. It's not an either or.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, with all of that being said, and yes, I will keep you posted. Lexi, actually, I'm going to add you to the Amethyst Rising support group with everything that's been going on. I think you could use some of the advice and stuff. And, just collaboration with the people in that group on Facebook. I will do that after the live, which we do have a Facebook group who supports survivors. And Jess is amazing, by the way, and takes instruction and advice very well. The first time I went into the group, I looked at it and I saw how she tried to have it organized, but people weren't understanding and commenting in areas that were for other things. And so I was able to get it, I instructed her on, this is what we need to do. And we did it, and things are flowing a lot better with the group. So it's really nice to be working with people who are willing to take the constructive criticism, because that's what it was, and implement what benefits the foundation, and say, well, no, but still stay true to what you wanted. You haven't really said no on anything that I've recommended so far, but I'm sure there will become a time that you will. On that note, so things that we are doing that I'd already wanted to set in motion anyway, and this is why I asked Sharon to join. I am going to, now we are on to announcement number 3, be putting out the second edition of the Phoenix Survivors Anthologies. And we are doing a call for writers. Now, the benefits of this book are going to go to Amethyst Rising. And a lot of anthologies, there is a writer's fee. We are waiving that because I don't feel survivors should have to pay to tell their story. But we are asking for donations to help with the marketing and the editing and all of that. But after all of that, after those fees are done, everything that comes in, donations for writing and or the sales of the book, will go into Amethyst Rising. Now, Sharon and I have worked together on many anthologies. And the reason, and I think Sharon agrees with me, I say writing an anthology, especially if you're trying to share your story as a survivor, is easier in an anthology is what, Sharon? You know my mind, and you know how to explain this better than I do.
Okay, so thank you, Crystal, for all your kind words. I just want to say before I elaborate on what you're asking me to elaborate on, you equally give back to me and everybody else that you are out here serving. So don't underestimate or sell yourself short. You have a tremendous amount of value, and anybody that gets to cross your path, whether it's for a minute, for a year, for an hour, is blessed, in my opinion. That being said, I will now say that when you're writing a chapter in an anthology, it is a piece. It is a segment of your story, and it could be a segment of your story, because you cannot write everything in one chapter that has a word limit. So it is a snapshot. It is an appetizer. It is let's read, let's help people. And I like to say that I know when I write my chapters, it's very real. I'm very transparent, and I use very descriptive language, not to traumatize people. I'm just saying I use descriptors that people can resonate with. But with every chapter that I write in an anthology and every chapter that the other co-authors write, it's not just about putting out there whatever we're writing about, whether it's being a survivor of domestic abuse or having a diagnosis, whatever it is, it's about providing hope. It's about providing strategies. This is where I was. This is what I was feeling. It was dark, but this is how I found the light. Because for me, I never want to leave somebody with just, it was dark, because they already know it's dark. They're there. They don't need to know it's dark. They need to know that they're not alone in the darkness, that other people are there and have been there, but they need to know how you found the light. So that is my answer to the question of, or to your statement of how, what it means to write your story in an anthology.
Very, very well said. So this will be a Valentine's edition. I am not going to be the masochist I was with the first edition and have 3 separate sections. I think I called Sharon 4 times crying because I just couldn't do it. Formatting is hell. But I got it done. But so with that being said, I will be setting up a application for writers. And this year, guys, I'm sticking to it. If you would like to write, I will need the application. Last year I had most of my writers actually didn't fill out the form. Even Sharon was a little late on it. But moving on.
You know what they say?
Yeah.
Better late than never. And the best things in life are those that you have to work for or wait for.
Yeah.
They're not immediate gratification.
Yeah.
Anyhow, moving on.
But so the premise is the same, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not sectioning it into children, breaking the cycle, survivors, and angels. It's all going to be one book. But with it being a Valentine's edition, I am going to be focusing more on partner abuse. Those are the stories more that I would like for this one, whether it's a same-sex partner or hetero, whatever. All of your stories matter. And like Sharon was saying, writing an anthology, it's a taster, but it's also a little easier because yes, you're sharing your story, but you also have support with your co-authors. And writing one chapter versus writing an entire book solo where you don't have a support group. Because with the anthology, for those of you that don't know, an anthology is a book that is written on one topic, a generalized topic, with multiple writers. I always say think Chicken Soup for the Soul because everybody in the world knows what those books are. Whether you've read them or not, you know what those books are. So it's one of the best ways to think about, And the book is about showing people, educating them on domestic abuse. A lot of our stories will answer the question why you didn't leave the first time it happened, because many of us don't. It happens over time and over, years even. And the hope that, hey, we're not alone. And look, they're out. They may not be rich and successful in, the common sense of the word, but the fact that they're out and they're healing and rebuilt our lives, that gives hope to somebody that is in it, that they can get out. And it also shows their families how to support. That is the reason I do these books, that I do this series, because it helps the world see that you can get out, and as different as all of our stories are, and all 4 of us on this stage are survivors, it shows that there is a life after, and that you can do it, and that you're not alone. Because as different as every single one of our stories on here is, they're very similar. Each of our stories has some things that we can all relate to together. Sharon's with the financial abuse and the mental, just just a lot of it. I can relate with the whole internet thing. Pam, I don't know a whole lot of your story, but I know that we all have things that collate. People can see visions of themselves or their loved one that's gone through it in it. And it gives them a hope and understanding, and, tries to hopefully put a stop to the victim shaming. Because that's one of the biggest reasons that people don't leave. They're scared of not being believed, of not being heard, of their abuser being the one that gets custody, that, is believed, and we're believed to be crazy. By raising our voices like this, it shows that we're not. Oh, I mean, okay. Well, we're not crazy in the way that our abuser's trying to paint, because everybody on here that knows me knows I'm batshit crazy, but in a fun way. Yeah, and Sharon's like, "Yep, that's true."
Can I add something? I don't want to interrupt you. Can I? But I just would like to add 2 quick things. One is that when people hear about domestic abuse or domestic violence, it conjures up an image of what we think that looks like and what that is. And often those images are correct, but there's much more of a continuum of what that can look like. And domestic violence or domestic abuse has many forms and can look very different. And it is something that is very, I like to describe it as very insidious. It starts to happen in smaller increments, to the point where you don't even realize that it's, abuse or violence or being mistreated. It just seems like it's part of your daily life. And then as time goes on, it progresses, and you're like, wait a minute, holy hell, what is going on? But then often when you are being abused in whatever fashion you are, the abuser often has this very purposeful way of making you feel like you are the one at fault. So that makes you not want to. It's the term we're using these days is gaslighting.
Yeah.
But it's very common, and it makes people even more afraid to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I wanted to just quickly add was, in terms of the anthology and support, I'm not going to lie to you. In every anthology I've written, and I've written in 6 since
6 to my 8.
a year ago, this past June. So within the last year, a little over a year, I've written 6 chapters, actually more, because in one I wrote 3 chapters. Yeah. But my point is that every chapter I've written has brought up emotions, has brought up positive emotions, has brought up negative emotions. I'm not saying this to dissuade anybody from writing an anthology or writing your story. It's important that people tell their stories, and writing in the anthologies is one of the best things I've ever done. But it is important to know and to lean on the support that you have with the other fellow co-authors, because there's not one anthology that I've written in where I haven't gone through an emotional roller coaster by revisiting some of the toughest parts of my life.
but it's also very healing.
Well, I was going to say,
doing
that's
that.
what I was getting at, is that when you lean on the support that you have of the other co-authors, it's a very cathartic and therapeutic and healing experience. But I just wanted to say, I know that there are people out there that kind of shy away from writing their story because they don't want to go back there. They don't want to be back in that dark place.
In that spot. Yeah.
But you're in that place in a different way.
Yeah.
And you have much more support. And you're not the same person you were when you were going through it. So
Exactly.
This is my way. Hopefully this is coming across the way I want.
It is.
Which is a way to be encouraging people to write their stories.
And you gave me a segue to the next part.
Okay.
Everything that you're saying is true. And it is very catharsis and very help. It does help. But writing isn't for everybody. So, as Sharon gave me a beautiful, beautiful segue into the final announcement, we are putting together 2 podcast series. One is going to be an educational one. And it will have people who, it is going to be an educational series based on the different forms of domestic abuse, going into exactly what each form means in terms to how it's domestic abuse, because the term domestic abuse covers such a broad span, it's not funny. Domestic abuse, the definition technically is any form of abuse that happens within a domestic arena, as in your home, with a romantic partner. But domestic abuse also means parental abuse, child abuse, sibling abuse, aunts, cousins, and
If I may, Crystal, elder abuse.
I grandparent abuse. I was getting there. It covers such a broad span. It's not. So it is going to be a set amount of episodes. That one is not going to be a reoccurring thing. And it will be shared on my YouTube channel, but it will also be a educational series on the Amethyst Rising website when we get it going, to understand the forms of domestic abuse. Now, the second podcast series, which will be benefiting and will be offered through Amethyst Rising, is a series called Phoenix Reclaiming Our Power and Voice. I'm offering this podcast series for any survivors who don't feel that writing is where the way they want to go, but they want to share their story. They don't, and as a podcast series, it is audio. It is not a video. So you don't ever have to say who you are. You can just share your story and take back your voice. Take back your power. Because every time we share a story, whether it's through a live, through writing, or even in a support group, you are taking back a little bit more of your power. You're gaining your voice back from all those that try to silence you. Which is the same with the anthology series. And that is the biggest thing, is taking our power back, because so many people are victim shamed. They don't feel that their story will be believed, and they bottle it up. Bottling it up is one of the reasons that trauma holds. And, the book, The Body Keeps the Score, is not bullshit, guys. I curse like a sailor, everybody on here. I am sorry. Not sorry. But it's bullshit. A lot of you have listened to the podcast that I did with my ex-brother-in-law, who is an MD, where we go into great detail about how long-term trauma, especially mental and emotional trauma, affects the body medically. And it's very informative, very good. I had so many light bulb moments just recording that. Sharon actually laughed at me because I called her after, and I was like, "Oh my God, I was right about so many things, and there's so many things I didn't understand." But it's true. Talking through all of it, whether it's through a podcast, writing, in
Can you guys
therapy.
hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I know you're driving, honey. So go ahead. You're breaking up
Yes,
again.
I keep going in and out of connection. Going in and out of connection.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on what Miss Sharon had said regarding not knowing. As a child, abuse can start there, and it also can develop in faith base. If you are in a faith base like I was, we were always taught whatever happens in the home stays in the home. And as 11 years old, I was beaten and raped. And when I reported it to my mom, she did not believe me. She allowed the neighbor, which was the neighbor's son that did it, she allowed the neighbor to manipulate the situation. And it never, you don't know what abuse is. You don't know none of the symptoms or signals to know that something bad is going to happen. Something bad is happening. They really didn't make domestic violence and legislation issue until 1994.
And that is all
So
things that we are going to be covering in the podcast series, is everything that you just discussed in the educational one and everything. Sorry guys that I'm putting trigger warning for what Pam just said, especially because of YouTube rules and regulations where we are not allowed to use the R word. Because YouTube.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't explain that before we went live. It is something that I've talked about, but we always put the trigger warnings out first. Sorry. So that I don't get a mark and they don't pull the video. But it all of that is true. You said 11 and that hits home for me. Sharon knows why. For me, 11 just was a bad year for a lot of people, apparently. But all of that will be discussed in the series where we break it down. That's why I'm putting that educational series together. It's going to explain mental abuse, sexual, physical, elder, child. I mean, and there's also going to be an episode on how families can support and all of it. That it's going to be about a 17 episode series, breaking everything down. With I've got a therapist that is going to be helping with the series in the supporting. I'm going to be doing an episode on how medical professionals, whether it's EMTs or hospital or doctors, can spot early signs, things like that. And I'm even doing one for education providers, teachers, daycare workers, all of it. This is going to be a very, very thorough series, but breaking it down one type at a time, because putting it all together in one thing, we'd be here for 5 hours, but we still wouldn't cover everything that's needed for each type. So by breaking them down one at a time, we can go into depth and detail, explaining the different things. And, what your mom did, that is definitely a form of abuse. That's neglect. that, that's neglect and mental abuse, Pam. So, and I'm sorry you went through that. I truly am. I definitely can empathize. Mine wasn't a neighbor though, but I was the same age. And yeah, mine was a little closer to home. So, on that note, you guys have all been amazing. And I'm looking forward to working with each of the ladies on my stage and collaborating. Lexi, like I said before, I will put you in connection with everybody. And Lauren, so good to see you. I will connect you through the socials and everything. AJOT, we will talk later. Thank you all for coming. It sounds like Blakers. It's here. Everybody knows Fridays is family day in this house. I have my nephew.
Crystal,
Yes.
may I just say one quick thing that's really
It's never
important, I
quick,
think, about the podcast and
Yes.
the writing. For any of you that might want to share your story but are hesitant or afraid to even have your voice heard or to do the writing, there have been times I think that's something that we're going to offer, but we'll talk about it further. But you can tell your story to someone else, or you can write your story and then have someone else read it. But there's ghostwriting that can happen. There's and for those that don't know, ghostwriting is when you tell your story to someone and then that person writes your story. And then you can do the same with a podcast. You can tell your story to that person, and then somebody else can actually be the one to put your story out there in the podcast. It is therapeutic and very healing if you can find a way to do it for yourself. But if you can't, it's a great first step to getting your story out there.
Yeah. And we do have.
Thank you for letting me add that, Kristen.
Absolutely. And we do, like I said, we do have a support group on Facebook. I'm working to put together a little bit more secure support groups through Amethyst Rising. But like I said, we are in the baby fledgling steps. We are just forming. But I will have in the description on both LinkedIn and on YouTube how you can reach out to any of us later today if you would like to support, collaborate, or if you need help. So, and yes, yes, Victor, you were right. Work abuse can compound domestic abuse. Been there, done that, burned the t-shirts. But thank you. That is a very important statement, and something that I had actually done a live about when it comes to trauma bonds, which is another episode that will be in there. Everybody, I call myself a masochist for all the things that I line up, but now I'm actually building the support, that is needed with people with the same vision and everything that can actually help my crazy mind get all of this done, because we want to do it together. And I don't have to just wear the 50 million hats. I can go down to 10 million. Yay. So, does anybody have any last thoughts or anything before we go? Because in about 10 minutes, Blakers is going to come running in here going, critical, come play. And well, I can't say no to that little man. He's just too cute. So,
well, I would like to say, if anyone would like to get in contact with me or organization, I am on Facebook under Open Arms Against Abuse or Lady Pamela Payton. You can contact me through Facebook or LinkedIn. My email address is openarmsagainstabuse2003 @gmail.com.
And like I said, just send me your connection stuff so I can actually put it in the descriptions on all the different channels.
Okay.
You can so
Okay.
I've already got Sharon's information. Jess, I've got yours as well. I will be updating the descriptions on through the board to be able to have everybody connect. Jess, is there anything else you want to say? You have anything else you want to say, honey? Jess?
Right now.
Everything's like you're going in and out, honey. So there we go.
Is that
You
better?
okay?
I can't think
Yeah.
of anything right now. I just basically same thing that Lady Pamela said. And if you can't reach Lady Pamela, you can also reach out to me because I am VP and I can get you two connected also. You can find me on Crystal as well. I'm on Instagram as Amethyst Rising. I'm on Facebook as my maiden name, which I won't list on a live. But Crystal knows how to get a hold of me as well. And I mean, I look forward to working with you, getting to know you guys. Everybody seems to be amazing. And I can't wait to see where this journey takes us all.
All right, Sharon, my love, anything from you, honey?
Just want to say thank you for having me today. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this journey with you. You know that a piece of my story is, domestic abuse, but it's not the classic abuse that people might think of when they think of abuse. So
Exactly.
I'm happy, not happy that I went through it, but I am happy that I'm making lemonade from lemons and teaching people the other parts of abuse, of what abuse can look like. And I'm just really excited to work with all of you, and to bring hope and strategies to people. And I think one other quick thing I want to say, that has been ringing in my brain is that it's becoming safe and getting out is very important, but that's often where a lot of the help stops, or it's harder to get the other necessary help. Like the concentration for help is safety, and I get that. I'm not minimizing the need for safety. If you're not safe, you can't do anything else. But
right,
you have to have,
you get safe, and then it's what do I do?
and you have to have the resources to
Stay
rebuild
safe.
your life.
Yeah.
When you're abused, you're isolated and you're kept in a box, so to speak. So the one other point I wanted to make is that, what we're going to do and what some other people are here in the comments do is we do work on helping people make sure they're safe, but then we continue the support and the resources so that the
The
rebuilding of
tools to
their life
rebuild their life
can happen.
properly. Yeah.
Yes.
And that is the vision. So, like I said, I can hear Lakers starting to stomp. I love you all, but I am going to go play with the cutest little 3-year-old boy in the world. I know Jess is supposed to be getting ready for her son, hopefully. And Lady Pamela is always on the run. This woman is boots on the ground, with her own work and with her, with the campaign and building all of it. It's amazing that she had time for us, but that's why I said she's boots on the ground. She makes the time to help. Like I said, she helped my friend with, navigating the school system in Jacksonville because they didn't want to give him the proper things he needed for his autism. And we'd only met that day when I asked her for that favor. And by the end of the weekend, she was meeting my friend Lisa to help her get all of it done. That's what I mean. This woman is boots on the ground, even with her own personal turmoil of what's going on. She is there. So I love everybody. But before Blaker storms in here, I'm going to say, I love you. Have a wonderful day and a great weekend. I will have everybody's contact information in the description within the next couple of hours. I love you and have a blessed weekend. Bye, guys.
You too, and happy holidays to you guys if I don't talk to you soon.
Mm.